So what we want to do is want to go ahead and get started this morning. So good morning, everyone. Glad to see a lot of faces here this morning for CBN. Once again, the rules of the game is we do have a lot of heads. If you do not mind, would you please mic yourself off so that we can make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to hear, and without backgrounds, cats, dogs, my grandkids yelling, et cetera, et cetera. So if we would do that, please. A minute to 2 minutes, and I'd like everyone to introduce themselves. We do have a lot of heads, so if you would be a little brief this morning. Matter of fact, we have more heads than we've ever had. I don't know what, but I think it's about Tischa. we have a lot of heads, but we're going to take the time because I always like people to introduce themselves. And so we'll do that here. I've got 2 more people coming in. So, wow, it's a gang of people here. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So with that, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take a brief introduction for myself. I'm Keith Rand. I own a company called First Quality Printing, and I lead this CBN meeting every week. And that's all I'm going to say this morning because I want to get started. The first person I'm going to talk to, ask to introduce himself, is Mr. Gerald Cowan, please.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I've been on vacation for a couple of months. A good referral for me as a lawyer is someone who's been in a serious auto accident or had a death and a wrongful death, who needs a will trust, updated power of attorney living will, or has a friend or knows someone who lost a loved one who needs their estate settled. I've been doing this work for over 30 years, and hopefully I've made all the mistakes that can be made and get it right this time. Thank you for listening, and march on.
Thank you, Gerald. Rhoda Israelov.
Morning, all. I'm here in Indianapolis with Keith, and my business is Say It For You, and we write what you read when you go on our clients' websites. So I'm very happy to welcome my out-of-town guests and our speaker today.
Thank you, Rhoda. Hey, as a reminder, please do 2 things when you come on. Please let us know where you're speaking from, and then also, along with your introduction, take a minute or so and let us know what a good lead is for you. Mary Ann Yates.
Good morning. I'm Mary Ann Yates, and I own Elder Moves. We transition people into their new homes, whatever those might be. We also decorate, and we also take care of any type of needs at the old place in order to resell it. Good lead for us is, anyone who's moving. Thank you. And hi, everyone.
Thank you, Mary Ann. All right, we're going to call some oldies but goodies now. Jim Shepard, please.
Good morning, everyone. I got my Panama City Beach shirt on, but I'm in Indianapolis. The COVID has slowed us down on our trip south, but I am a retired CBN member. Was there back with Rhoda when all of this started. And I had a company called DQP Printing, and thanks to Keith, I'm no longer in that business. I appreciate that, Keith. It's a transition in my life, getting COVID shots and seeing a lot of doctors, but all in all, I'm physically in pretty good shape, and delighted to join the meeting for the first time. So not a lot of new faces, so I'm looking forward to hearing who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Jim. Hey, and also, please check the notes. People are sending notes, so do check your notes. Tischa sent us some contact information, and then I'll also remind you at the end of it to check your notes again. David Garrison, if you would, please.
Morning, I'm Dave Garrison. I'm with Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. I work with seniors, wealth advisors, real estate agents in utilizing housing wealth to create their best retirement. A good lead for me would be any senior who's interested in learning more about reverse mortgages and how to utilize housing wealth to provide income or eliminate mortgage payments or protect their portfolio, or any wealth advisor or real estate agent who might have an interest in learning more.
Thank you, David. Andrew, if you would, please.
Hey everyone, so first of all, I have to apologize because I'll be leaving a couple minutes early today because I have a talk at the Winchester Chamber of Commerce, and that particular thing, a great lead for me is actually a Chamber of Commerce that is interested in finding ways to help their super networkers while we're in COVID. Like a lot of people have been trying to get networking online and struggling with how to get people to connect and have fun and just create those networking conversations. And I have a great hour-long program that's really fun for people, help people kind of get the conversations going, talk, learn a little bit about networking, sharpen our elevator pitch, and do that. So again, a great lead for me is Chamber of Commerce is looking for a good virtual business networking talk. I'm Andy Winnick, and I'm based outside Boston.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, if you would, Mike Ryan. Mike, we're going to give you some light bulbs, buddy, before this is all over with. If you would, Mike. John, if you would. Mike, we'll come back to you because we're having technical with you. John Vandersall.
Hi, good morning. John Vandersall, residential real estate agent, Indianapolis. I work for the FC Tucker company. I office out of Keystone and the Crossing. I work equally with buyers and sellers in this seller's market. A good lead for me is someone who is looking to sell or move. I'd be happy to provide valuation of their property. John Vandersall, FC Tucker.
Thank you, John. Hey, Adele, if you would, please.
Thank you, Keith. Good morning, everybody. My name is Adele Bush. My business is ASB Business Services, LLC. We do personalized, customized, and exclusive executive telephone outreach. We also do business research and prospect development. A good lead for me today would be a business that wants to convert their contacts into prospects, into paying customers. I'm coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio, but we can work anywhere. So give me a call if I can help you. Del Bush, ASB Business Services, LLC, contacts to customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Adele. Contacts to customers. Hey, Tischa, I'm going to come back to you because I want you to do your own introduction when it's the Tischa show.
Yeah, I have an introduction in the presentation, so I could do it then too.
Okay, not a problem. Big Mike.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Chambers. I'm north side of Indianapolis, longtime CBN member, and a recently retired independent insurance agent. So good to see everyone. I've been out for 3 or 4 weeks, but now that the schools are back in session in Washington Township, my second job of monitoring my granddaughter's education is done for a while. So I'm back in the business world. So good morning to everyone.
Good morning, Mike. I know about that putting up with kids at your house, buddy, or visiting, same thing. So it's not a problem. Zach Fox, if you would, please.
Hi, everyone. Zach Fox, financial advisor with Edward Jones, based out of Indianapolis area, but licensed in multiple states. We confidently plan and execute retirement, and a good lead for me is anybody looking to plan and execute that retirement in the next few years.
Thank you, Zach. Alex, if you would, please.
My name's Alex Gray. I'm on the north side of Indianapolis as well, and currently in the process of winding down my web hosting, email hosting business, getting very close. Have a few hangers on that I haven't been able to get off the platform yet, but and then a few minor details with some other clients, and that will be probably wrapped up hopefully by the end of the month. And then I'll be focusing on my investing.
Thank you, Alex. Tim Johnson, if you would, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tim Johnson, Columbus, Ohio, retired law enforcement and an Air Force veteran. I am now an executive and legislative lobbyist here in Ohio, working on the sectors of the medical cannabis and the hemp programs, providing services to the legislators as well as to my company, Cannabis Safety First. We provide biometric security systems, vaults, provide safety training programs, both within the two industries and outside of the industries for the safety programs for helping you establish protocols and procedures for your companies for planned or unplanned events. My information, I think I put in the chat feed there, so if you need to get a hold of me for
Thank you, Tim.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Gloria Thomas with Secret Direct. We help people look their best, feel your best from head to toe, inside out, outside in, with skincare, nutrition, and travel for everybody. Right now, a good lead for me is anybody who has skin issues or someone who wants to lose weight in a healthy manner. Again, I'm Gloria Thomas with Secret Direct.
Thank you, Gloria. Yeah, we'll keep it moving. Hey, with that as an introduction, good to see a lot of heads this morning. Just two quick administrative reminders. We have speakers up and through the middle of March, so I need speakers from the second week of March. I'm trying to book March into April. I have one contingent speaker right now. He is working on a date, but if you would, once again, I like to remind people, we also like to hear from your customers. So if you can't think of a speaker, you at least have one customer. We are coming from all over the Midwest right now, and we have a potential speaker that's even going to think about calling us in from California. So we emphasize at CBN, we've always had the same mantra. We are here to make you smarter. Of course, we want to network, but we're more interested in finding out about each other and what you do and how we can be better business people and smarter business people. So that can be a speaker from any area. So with that quick intro, just want to remind you about, we are looking for speakers for the March and April. With that, I'm going to allow Tischa to come on, and it's now the Tischa Show, if you would, please.
Oh boy. Yes. Thank you, Keith. Keith, can you allow me to share?
You should be good now. You're a co-host.
Okay.
I can see your screen.
Okay. Let me just go in. So today we are talking about pivoting during COVID-19. And I want to talk about a case study which involves my own company, Carlos Consulting and Services, Inc. So today I will be covering just a little bit more about myself, my company background, business macro trends, and how I leverage those trends to pivot my business, and then the top 5 lessons learned. So more about me. My family is actually from a small island called Dominica. And it is not the Dominican Republic. It is Dominica. It's 2 separate islands. A lot of people get it confused. It's in the Lesser Antilles area, right between Martinique and Guadeloupe. So my entire family is from there. And Dominica is called the Nature Island because it has 365 rivers on the island, 1 river for every single day of the year. So again, my parents were born there, their parents were born there. I'm actually first generation born in the United States. And currently, I actually live in Houston, Texas. I have a chemical engineering degree from the University of Michigan. So I know this is Ohio, but don't hate on me, U of M. And I have over 20 years of R&D experience, research and development experience. 16 of those years have been in product and packaging development and also leading teams. Some of the projects that I've worked in the past that you guys actually might be familiar with is Philadelphia cream cheese. I actually was able to increase the particular sizes, the piece sizes some years ago. For an example, on strawberry, it used to have specks, but now it actually has full chunks. And that initiative was a renovation to help increase the eating experience, a better eating experience, and the increase the quality of that product. And then a project also that was launched some years ago is Velveeta Cheesy Bowls. So that is actually a retorted product that is macaroni and cheese with meat, retorted, shelf stable, mostly for convenience stores. And then in addition to that, I actually received 3 patents on physical packaging designs. So that was throughout my career at Kraft. So that was something that I'm proud of as well. But 6 years ago, I actually started my own company, Carlos Consulting and Services. And that is a company that I'm doing the exact same thing that I was doing at Kraft, research and development, however, working for myself instead of somebody else. And then most recently, in August last year, I launched a fragrance company. And that's what we're going to be mostly focusing on today. How did I have the one business and then open up the second business for Signature Scents by Carlos? And just a little fun fact, my middle name is Carlos. So both of my companies are named after my middle name. Carlos Consulting and Services, what do we do? Our mission, or my mission, is to be a leader in formulation and physical packaging solutions. So I take those solutions and I want to transform those into reality for clients. Literally before COVID, I was in a lab, a lot of clients' lab, working with ingredients, creating formulas that are scaled up in manufacturing facilities and then launched in a grocery store and shelved in a grocery store for people to eat. In addition to that, I did packaging. And so for an example, if you want to take a cookie, for an example, I would look at the cookie and decide what type of wrap the cookie would be in, what type of barrier properties does that cookie need in order to have a specific shelf life. For example, if you needed a year's shelf life, those are the things that I would look at to make sure that that product was packaged properly for the client. And then in addition to that, once I had the wrapper identified, then I would create what that product would go into, whether that be a carton in this example. So today, we're going to be talking about a case study, pivoting my business during COVID-19. I went from one company to two businesses, Carlos Consulting and Services, Inc., and then Signature Scents by Carlos. The reason why is that for COVID-19, I was no longer going in any labs. It was essential workers only. So that definitely had a reduction in my revenue stream. So there was a need. There was a need to do something else. And also, I had a passion to do something else. I had that passion that I wanted to do something else. And I had, in particular, in the beauty industry was my passion. So the first step was to identify what the macro trends are and how am I going to, how will that impact me the most? So these are the 5 macro trends: e-commerce, globalization, digitization, personalization, and resilience. I focused on 2 of these. The first one was e-commerce, buying and selling products over the internet. And the second one was personalization, services and products that meet a consumer's individual requirements. So that's the first step, just to identify. But the second step then would be to leverage that. And also leverage other things that I can. Leverage my experience, my network, and the infrastructure that I already have as well. So we're going to be going over each one by one in terms of the ones that I specifically leveraged. The first area is infrastructure and network. How did I leverage that? Well, I already had an established company. So it was fairly seamless to add a new subsidiary company under that parent company. I actually had the idea in July, and by August, I was up and running with Signature Scents by Carlos. And then I also had LinkedIn, Facebook, the people that I already knew for my network. And so how that was leveraged is that I was invited to do a podcast. I was invited to do an international radio show, even broadcasted in the Caribbean. I'm here with you guys. So that network allowed me to at least to tell people what I do, to broadcast the new company. And then I also was able to connect with Alibaba, which is something that I'll talk further a little bit later as well. So in regards to my formulation experience. For food products, it could be very complex. And so the formulation, this is just an example of an ingredient line and what ingredients that you have to work with, or I had to work with, to create a cream cheese, a Philadelphia cream cheese spread. Very complex. For fragrances, it's not that complex. I actually use 4 main components. And like Gloria was mentioning, I actually have a skin condition. I have eczema. So I purposely made these components using no harsh chemicals. And really, the magic comes with the essential oil piece, where I'll have to manipulate the top, middle, and bottom notes depending on what the consumer selects to make their custom fragrance. From a process perspective, for that experience, again, for food, it can be very complex. This is a process flow diagram to create Philadelphia cream cheese spread. But for fragrances, I'm really only focusing on that mixing part. So I have a base solution, and then I add drops of essential oils and fragrance oils in the product to create a perfume or a cologne for someone. And then our first trend that I leveraged was personalization. The trend here is that non-photo personalized gift segment, that is to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 8.22%. That's significant between now and 2022. The other thing that I found interesting is that major US players in that personal gift segment, Cafe Press, it's coffee, Disney, Hallmark licensing, Shutterfly, Things Remembered, none of that includes fragrances. So how that was leveraged is I thought it was a gap. There's a gap there where even though I'm a small player, I could still play with Signature Scents by Carlos. And then how people can personalize their items with their fragrance is that they select their scent. They select their scent, and based on some other things that I ask the individual, like a little bit about your personality, I can create a formula for you, and I have that formula set aside just for you if you want to reorder it as well. And then the consumer also personalizes it with their own name as well. You can call it whatever you want. A little fun fact here is that a survey that was done in September 2000 by the UPS store, these are some other areas that small businesses are actually personalizing their services. So they use personalized emails, product recommendation, customized products, which is what I'm doing, payment preferences, and then personalized shipping options. And those are some things that I could leverage in the future as well. The last trend that I leveraged was e-commerce. And so by 2022, the trend is that there's going to be an increase, 3% increase in e-commerce between now and 2022, or 2019 to 2022, 3% increase. That's significant. Specifically in the area that I'm in, which is personal care, it's only a 1% increase, but it's still billions of dollars. So that is also significant. And how I leverage that is I created my own website. I actually used Wix and posted the website on Google via Wix. That's the platform that I used. And then I also leverage other channels, or am leveraging other channels. There's actually, I mentioned Alibaba earlier, and there's actually Alibaba, for people who don't know, is almost like an Amazon, but for the international market. Whereas Amazon is focused more on US. But Alibaba, I connected with somebody through LinkedIn, and Alibaba is having a pilot program to try to bring their products more to the US versus keeping it international. So I'm working on using that platform as well. The other interesting point where similar survey done in September was that these are the other top marketplaces. Amazon, it's more than likely all of us would have guessed Amazon is the top. And then eBay. But interestingly enough, Facebook is also another marketplace, as well as Walmart. So these are some other marketplaces and streams that I can use and leverage in the future. So in terms of the impact to my business, I went from a reduction in revenue, one company, to 2 businesses that helped balance out my cash flow. And then in the future, I want to make sure that I continue to innovate and just let people know what I'm doing. The interesting thing is, even this year, I launched Signature Scents by Carlos, a gold line, which is pre-customized items based on some of the selections that people, the popular scent selections that people have already selected. So I created just a few fragrances, colognes, and perfumes that are already pre-made and pre-customized. So my top 5 lessons learned. First is take advantage of the macro trends to leverage what I already have and know, to focus on my wins. You know, starting your own company, and there's a lot of ups and downs. So focus more on the positive than the negative. Promote and advertise, and just be patient. Just be patient and continue to learn from the experience and to grow. So just wanted to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me today. Thanks to Rhoda for introducing me to this great group. My contact information is here. I also put it in the chat. And today I did want to let you know that I do have a thank you gift. I wanted to give you guys a 10% discount if you're interested. If not, it's fine too. But I will email everybody the discount, the coupon code when we're done today.
Well, thank you, Tischa. This is a really interesting conversation. CBN, we say it all the time, makes us smarter. I have a couple of quick questions, then I want to open the floor up. You started your gold line, and I had already written a note because I'd already had a discussion with someone else about a new business. Because the problem with businesses is always pricing and margins. And this person was also engaged in the customization process, except it was for apparel. And the problem with customization is repeat. Since everything is unique, it was tough to maintain the margins, because unless you got a repeat, you had to start from scratch. What made you decide was that your thought as to why you went into this gold? Or it was like, hey, I just want to do something different?
No, I actually went into the gold because I have some clients who get to the page and they're like, oh my gosh, Tischa, I'm not sure what I want to select. Like, I want to smell good. I want a perfume or a cologne that uses no harsh chemicals, but I just don't know where to start. So the 2 things, I either will say no problem, and I'll actually walk them through and help them select their own choices of fragrances. But the second thing is that I got requests from people to say, can I just have something off the shelf that smells good that you already have? And so that was the real reason why I decided to create those fragrances.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, Tischa, this was great. Thank you. I'm curious as to, are you doing the mixing and everything, or does Alibaba actually produce them? Like, how are you taking it from the website customization to actually shipping out the product?
Yes, I actually do the mixing. Yeah, no, I have a home GMP, a lab here that I created here at my house, and I do all the mixing, I do all the packaging, everything is hand designed, handmade, and then shipped out from here. So, some of the references that I had to the UPS store, I have an account with the UPS store, they offer training. And so I was able to glean some of that data point from them as well. But everything is out of the office here.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Tischa,
Marianne, you're muted.
Yeah, Tischa, I was just wondering, are you keeping statistics on what ones people come back for?
Yes, I am.
So that, because then you could develop a line.
Yes, exactly, Marianne. That's exactly how I developed the gold line. I actually was able to keep track on what the most popular scents were. And so that was the baseline that I used to create those. It's only 4 items right now, but those are the ones that I use to be able to create that line.
Anybody else? If so, raise your hand so I can see you.
One last question, Tischa. Is that race related? I have to ask that. I mean, you know, is it like, do you find that certain skin types adhere to different types of smells?
No, actually, it's not race related. It's more but it is true. There are certain skin types that relates differently to type of smells, but it's not race related. It's more the type of skin you have and what you eat. So for an example, if you have drier skin like me, I have eczema, it doesn't necessarily last as long. The more moisturized your skin is, the more better the fragrance will last on your skin. And then, so that's one thing. And then the second thing is that what you eat. So if you eat a lot of spicy foods or like spicy foods, then the fragrance would actually smell a little bit different on your skin than somebody else that may eat like vegetarian, very clean. So those are the 2 main things. I guess maybe culturally, sometimes people eat certain spicy foods and not. So maybe somebody could say race, but it really boils down to skin type and food.
Any other questions? Adele.
Hi, Tischa. That was a great presentation. My question is, do you develop scents for both men and women?
Yes, I do. And the interesting thing about the difference between men and women, we call it cologne versus perfume, but it's just the different type of scents that you select. Whereas a man, it would be more leather type of smells, more woody, whereas a woman may pick more floral. So it's just a different type of scents that you use for a man versus a woman.
Anyone else with any questions?
Okay, I have a question. Tischa, what is the base solution that you use?
So there's 4 key components that I use in the base solution. One is alcohol. Another one is there's like 1%, maybe 0.5% of water. The third component is the essential and or fragrance oils. And there's another 4th component called methyl glucose ether. And that is a component that combines and mixes all the fragrance together. It's actually corn based. It's an item that's used in the beauty world. It helps actually put moisture back in your skin. So those are the 4.
Tischa, in what units do individuals order from you?
Normally the units are just 1 per person. I just launched the gold line, so I'm not sure, which is the pre-made ones. So I'm not sure if there's going to be an increase in the amount per order because of that. And then it depends. So I did have an order overseas that they ordered 7 of them at once because that was an overseas order. But normally within the US, it's 1 order per person.
Just a real quick question. How are you finding your consumers?
So right now I'm finding them via Facebook, a lot of them. There's this new networking app called Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Somebody just put me onto it a couple weeks ago where people come in and it's similar to a Zoom, but it's all on voice and people populate in. If you like a certain type of activity, they kind of put you in certain groups based on what activities you like, and then you just chat. So that has generated some people to the site as well. It's called Clubhouse. It's like this newest thing to network with people. And then those are the 2, and then LinkedIn, honestly, family, friends, that's kind of how you get started anyways, especially when you first start something. And then family and friends tell other people that I don't know. So that's happened too.
Hey, Tischa, a couple of things. One, I like innovators. I like people who have no problem with being challenged. And sometimes survival is always what makes you innovate. So I understand that, and it's I like that kind of thing. Two quick questions. Scents is a large, huge market.
Yes.
Obviously, you made your decision to go into that market. Why'd you choose such a large market? Is it because you have a back end as a mixologist, so to speak, or why scents?
Well, one is that I personally love scents. So I was passionate about that specific item within the beauty industry. I have tons of fragrances, and I thought to myself, wouldn't that be nice if I could just have this go-to fragrance that I actually could call like my own, that I love? And so it was a need that I have. And I was like, if I have that need, maybe some other people, instead of having 10 different fragrances, well, why don't I have just a go-to one that was customized just for me? So that was one reason. And then the second reason was I could leverage my skill set. I have the formulation background. I'm strong in that area. And that's a skill that I could leverage then creating that product.
That's a win there when you can leverage whatever skill set you have. That's myself and Jim have always been in the personalization business, sometimes too much, right, Jim? So that's one of the reasons I brought that up, is that printers are in the personalization business, and people are willing to pay a higher margin for that kind of product, which gets me to my last question. Is like, where do you see yourself going from being what I would call a craft to the second step, which is commercial?
Yes, I see myself in the future really leveraging the Alibaba stream and doing more bulk. So that's my plan. My plan is to, once I start getting orders that are more bulk, then hopefully I'll be able to employ some local folks within the Houston area and be able to have them have their own home business set. I would still own the formulation work, but would reach out to other people to hire to actually put and assemble the items together, but focusing still on making it a home business for people, especially with the times that we're living in today.
And with Alibaba, because I'm familiar with it, do you believe your target market will be more overseas? Or I know they're trying to penetrate the US, but their target market is specifically non-US right now.
Yes, it is. And what they mentioned to me is that with the non-US market, there's two specific areas that international businesses want from the US. One is beauty products, the other one is food, because they don't trust they trust the United States with our regulations with those two items. Anything that you can eat and anything that you put on your skin is what the international market is going to the US market for. So yes, I anticipate that more than likely it would be more international sales from the Alibaba stream, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm in the process of creating the site with them now. And so I haven't pressed the green light yet on it, but that's something that I look forward to, the challenge, to see what happens.
So that sounds like a win. I think I've got a hand here. Adele?
Yes, Tisha, right now you're focusing on personal fragrances. Do you have any plans to do like home fragrances? You know, fragrances that we can use to make a beautiful environment in our home, like something that can be used in diffusers.
Yes, I initially thought about that to grow in a way that I could first start with perfumes and colognes and then diffusers for the home, even the car, especially using no harsh chemicals for the environment that we live in. Yes, I've been thinking about how to expand in the future with that as well. So we'll see. It depends on how I grow, but that is an area that I'm considering going into. Yes.
Because would a home fragrance be a different formulation than a personal fragrance?
Yes, it would. Yes. It
Very
wouldn't be
good.
heavy. It's different formula.
Mhm. I love a good home fragrance, and I have a diffuser in my office and I run it every day. So I'm going to be watching you. Thank you, Tisha.
You're
Great
welcome.
presentation.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
not great. This has been real interesting, and we'll be monitoring you, and hope you continue your relationship with CBN and keep us in the loop. And when you make that first 10 million, 20 million, throw us a bone or something, and
We'll see.
give us something free. Who knows, right? We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Just want to say thank you for your presentation. I love the technical quality of it. I didn't necessarily understand everything, but it showed that you put some time in. And I think, as a presenter, it was excellent. It was just excellent. So appreciate that very, very much. So with that, just once again, 2 quick reminders, people. Number one, I am going to be looking for speakers for the last part of March and going into April. Once again, don't forget your customer can also be one of your speakers. If you forget to I don't know anybody. Yeah, you do. You know at least one customer. So keep that in mind. And then last but not least, hey, be supportive to people like Tisha, David, John. Me and Tim may end up talking a lot here. I did extensive research on cannabis. The state of Indiana is not addressing the issue of cannabis yet. But my CBN people know that about 2 years ago, I did a presentation on that. And so I'm very, very interested in that. So we'll see how that goes. But given that, we will be seeing each other next week. With that, we're going to sign off as usual with a smile and a wave. And thank you so much. And Tisha, I'll be contacting you personally, and we'll follow up with that. With that, people, thank you so much. Make sure you get Tisha's notes. And if you have any, and make sure you watch the video, because I'll also attach her notes again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye this week.